Okay. Okay, I'm going to get on for a moment here and let me see. Let me get in a better lighting area. Hope everybody's doing well. Um, Let me see. Today's the 12th, July, July 12th. Tomorrow will be um, will be the anniversary of the day I got out of the hospital last year. Here. And so I guess I can, now that I've got a year behind me, I can sort of explain a little more. Um, it's hard for me to explain a lot of this stuff because, it's I don't like it when people exploit what I'm saying, and this can definitely be taken wrong. So I'm just going to take it from the most harsh side of it all here, so that I'd be the one to say it before you can just go, well, he's defending him. So I don't defend. I'm not going to defend myself on this. This is very much my fault. For the years ever since I won the show in 2010. Um, I'm going to be honest. It was from there on was not fun, and it wasn't. The only moment that was fun in those 10 years, especially to follow winning that show, was marrying my wife. The pressures that I had on me through the years, and I could say it as an excuse, whatever, I had to do things to help calm me, and I never was just sitting. It wasn't like a thing of just sitting around and doing nothing. It was, to put it lightly, I was going, and at a level that I could never do, even as a young man. But being that I wasn't having a good time winning the money and everything. Everybody thought I had this great money. I only won in the end 450 grand, and I lost all of that really quick in building a house. I wish I would have bought one, and all that money plus some went into that. Um, I just recently was able to finally, for the first time, purchase my own house a few years ago, out here in Vegas. So it's been tough just through the years trying to keep everything up that just in that house and everything else. And it was just too much for me. I just couldn't bear that responsible load, and it had no exit, it seemed, and many other things too that were going on. So I just wound up drinking, drugging. Early in the game after the show, I got hooked on opiates really bad. Um, some know that I was open about it to the media when I found I had a problem with that. Um, the opiates helped me more so than alcohol would have. It kept me going in a way where I could do with little sleep and get up, take more opiates, and go get on a plane, be on the next radio or TV show. And this stuff isn't fun, guys. You think it's fun, but it's not. Anybody tells you it's fun, they're crazy. They're that do it. Yeah, you'd have to be crazy. I could explain. But it's just nonstop going. So you need something there. And I was taking opiates at the time. I wasn't a heavy drinker, but I was taking opiates, and I got so bad off to the point I was taking black tar, heroin. I wasn't, I wasn't injecting it yet with a needle, but I was to the point of, where do you find it? You can find it on the streets in black tar. I mean, that's how bad it got with me. And when I'm telling you, like withdrawals, or putting it lightly, um, and it was hell. And I went through years of struggling with that. And I finally had gotten off of that around 2013. And when off of it, I never looked back. I never went back to opiates, dropped them completely, never had a pain pill or anything like it since. But I was still under pressure, and I needed something. So naturally it was alcohol, was always there. And so I didn't think I had a problem with alcohol. I knew I had a problem with opiates and drugs, so I needed to stay away from that. But alcohol was okay, right? And so And so I started drinking, and from there on, and using the alcohol as as a healer, and it was pretty constant because the stress levels that I was taking, I just couldn't take it, man. And I wound up drinking way too much, and my body started suffering from it through the years. And then I got to be a functioning alcoholic. And I've never been the type to really be in denial. I knew I was, because when I'm not drinking, of course, my hands were shaking, and couldn't sleep. So I was doing a pretty much 24/7 drinking, and it wasn't to be, partying or anything, guys. None of this ever was. And it was just, I was trying to get through the moments that I considered hell. Um, like I said, it never was fun. It never was. I can't think of fun moments except for marrying my wife, and that's it. And for everything she had to put up with through the years, I'm lucky that she even is still with me. But my recent bout was with alcohol, and I knew I had a problem. I just didn't know how to get out of. I didn't know how to get out of it. Um, and I didn't want to burden others, but people around me knew, and they definitely knew, and they knew I was going down. And then while this is going on, then I have a series of really bad days in a row, where I lose my best friend, Joe Forsman, who lived next door to me. And that one's still tough to talk about, but I lost him. And after Joe passed away, there was a couple other acquaintances that passed, and then I don't remember much after that. And that was Joe passed away in November of 2022. And past that, Joe and I both shared the same birthday of December 30th. And I don't remember my birthday of that year, what happened going into 2023. And everything else is sort of a blur. I just woke up in the hospital one day, and that's what I remember. It was on June 13th. I woke up, and I was in a hospital bed, and Lucy, my wife, told me that I had been in the hospital for 2 weeks, and I didn't. I thought she was exaggerating. It was 2 weeks exactly. I had been in the hospital, and I guess I was so bad off that they put me on life support for a few days, and I don't remember any of it. And I guess I was quite a handful in the hospital to the poor people that worked there. I don't even know. I want to go and give them flowers, but I'm afraid they'll have me 86 off the hospital property from what I hear about the way I was. And then when Lucy told me I'd been there 2 weeks, she said, "You're not going home." She said, "You're going straight from the hospital, and you're going to go to um, a rehabilitation in Utah." And at first, I don't know, I think I was reluctant at first. I didn't know I was there for as long. And when I realized this, I would, of course, okay, just, I remember in my mind just going, "You don't know what is going on at this point. Just say yes and know that your wife is there for you. Believe her and believe the ones around you." And I did. And, you know, the people that remained around me during that time, the Fergusons, the Thurstons, the Terescos, Bill, I'm sorry, Bill. Sorry, Joanne, Dave, Anne Marie, everybody, John, to all my friends that were there during that moment. That's very humiliating, shameful. Um, embarrassment is the best teacher. When I realized that what I had done, I listened to Lucy and I listened to Bill, David, and Joanne, and everybody, Anne Marie telling me, and John, tell me you need to go, and they drove me all the way out to Utah, straight from the hospital, and that's where I had stayed from that day, June 13th, all the way till July 13th, which will be tomorrow, will be the anniversary, the day that I stepped out of the rehab. And I marked that day as being the day that I truly quit and re entered the world. And I've had to make a lot of commitments during the time that I was in rehab. Boy, the rehabilitation place I was set up at was just the best. And the people that worked there, Cirque Lodge, excellent, excellent people, man. And the therapy there was superb. They really spoke to me, and I'm pretty hard headed, so they had a they had a really good team of people that helped pull me through it and give me the tools that I kind of knew already, but they were there to confirm it. They're like, "Yeah, you're right. No, this is it. This is what you have to do to maintain in life." So, now I'm a year sober. I haven't had a drop since I got out of rehab. And I've been going to AA and with some dear friends. I don't want to mention who they are because it's anonymous, but people that do understand what I'm going through. I am an alcoholic, but I am a recovering alcoholic. Where'd that come from? Oh, it's just tough to say. Um, Embarrassment and shame. But that's the deal. And that's what happened. And I've been ashamed about it. And I'm not looking for any sympathy from those within the music business. That's not what this is about. To the ones in the music business that I still keep in touch with, and they know that they know who I am, and they know that I'm not about this business, and I never have been about the music business. I've just had to endure the pain of the music business to be able to do what I do. And endure is exactly what I have done through the years. I'm quite stoic in the music business. Yes. And no, they're not getting rid of me. I don't plan to stop doing what I'm doing, So I'm still in Vegas, and I'm still going to be here performing for many years to come, as long as I can do what I'm doing. Um, and for as long as those out there, like you guys that are watching, that you know may appreciate the sound and the art that I bring forth, um, I'll continue doing it. But guys, I'm not in this business for for money, and I'm not in it for fame. I don't want any of that shit. Never did. And but it comes with it, and I'm grateful. And for the little girl that I was with on the TV show, Jackie Ivanko, her and her dad, Mike, who's a great guy, they would have probably done a hell of a lot better than I would have done with that situation. But who knows? It's a tough one when you win a show like that. It's not. I don't know. There's no handbooks out there for that situation. Somebody needs to write a handbook. If there is, if there is, let me know. If not, man, I guess I need to write my version of a handbook of the what not to do's when you're in the entertainment world and trying to survive. Anyway, there you go. I'm a year now. Tomorrow will be a year. I say tomorrow, not tomorrow. Sorry. Today's the 11th. The 13th, which will be, Friday. Right? No, today is the 12th. Sorry, my bad. But tomorrow, I'm right, is the 13th. No, I'm wrong. Tomorrow's the 12th. I am. Oh, God, Michael. Oh, whoa. Anyway, the 13th was the day, and that is coming up. I'm going to celebrate it tomorrow, the 12th, which is I'm going out to AA, get my 1 year chip, whatever, pat myself on the back. And, um, and it really has been challenging this past year. I was throwing up the challenges, as we all are in life, but fresh off of alcohol and anything to have in some really rough moments. Losing my grandmother has been the toughest moment my whole life, and I lost her on October 31st of this year or last year, and um, and I had to go through that moment sober, and I got through that. I got through my dearest friend Dwight, who died recently. Boy, and that one was tough, but I got through that one. I didn't drink a drop. That one I talked to the bottle on. You hear people talking to the bottle. I did. I talked to the bottle. And, and I realized the bottle just really had nothing to do with me anymore. It didn't want me. So I don't want it. And that's okay. Anyway, there it is. 1 year positive. That's good. I almost died. I laugh because I'm alive right now a year later. So for those of you who thought you were going to get rid of me out there, no, you still have me. And for those of you that love me, and I love you too, thank you so much for sticking around throughout all of this. Let me see what's going on in the comment department after I said all of that. Okay. And Edna says, I used alcohol for my pain. Physical, mental, brave of you to tell your story. Well, thank you, Edna. And yeah, that's the case. It is when you start using it like that, it's no longer to party. Alcoholics say, you know, I feel good. It was a good day. It's time to celebrate. Right? I had a bad day. It's need some alcohol to hate that. Everything is an excuse. When you are an alcoholic. But one thing is for sure is that for those who suffer from pain and suffer from mental issues. You know, a lot of people do. Um, Alcohol seems to be the one you reach for. Yeah, and I'm not telling anybody it's a bad thing. For anybody out there, look, in my house now, I can keep a full bar. And I know you think I'm flirting with alcohol by having it in my house, but I want it to be in my house because I want people, and I want mainly myself also, to know that it's not the alcohol that's my problem. Okay. And that's not any excuse to pick up the alcohol either. I'm done with alcohol, period. I will never have it again. I've made that commitment in my life. And just like opiates, I've not had them since 2013. I will never go back to alcohol. It's hard for other people. And I say I will never. I take it day to day. Anyone in their right mind knows you could have a bad day, and they're very right about that. So I won't say never. I got to retract that one. But every day is a new day, and I really don't plan on it. I've had my moments, and I think I can face it. I think in toughest moments, we'll see, but I think I can. Um, you know, and that's the deal there. It does help with the mental strains and stresses, and then you wind up. But once again, I have a bar, so if anybody ever comes to my house, I do. I have a full liquor bar and a wine bar, and I love it because when I was drinking, it was not full. And I was always telling people when they'd come over to bring the alcohol, can you stop and grab some? I'm out. So now when guests come over, I have alcohol for you, and I'm the devil. I'm like, please drink, please, please. You need it. You need to drink. Um, Let me see here. Um, let's see. And thank you, Anna. I know she goes, you got this, and I do. I do. I'm gonna go get my 1 year chip, and that'll it'll be fun to kind of, and it's just for me. I don't know. It's not really anything. I'm doing the 1 year chip for a few people too. I guess it's not just me. And my buddy Lenny Lopez recently made a point when I said this to him, what I'm telling you, and he made a good point. He said there could be somebody in that AA class that's a young man that sees you get that 1 year chip and see you make it. Huh. Didn't think about that with my selfishness. And because for me it's just really not, it is a selfish reason why I'm quitting. I want to live. So I don't know. For me, that's pretty simple, and so I'll fight to try not to do that. What happened was, in the midst of me drinking through the years, also, guys, the one thing that'll help me keep away from alcohol is I wound up developing fatty liver disease, and due to alcoholism through the years. And so my liver, by the time I went in the hospital, the reason why I was so bad off, I didn't tell you this part. I was going jaundice, I was turning yellow, and I was weak. I was throwing up constantly. It was my liver, and the doctor had showed me when I came to in the hospital. He showed me my liver, and he said, luckily he sees no cirrhosis, but he said that you do have a mark on the liver, and he said it's from fatty liver disease. Is the way he said it. I'm no doctor, but he said if I maintain it healthy, meaning no alcohol, and a healthy diet and life, anything that is good for the liver especially, it'll heal itself. And pretty quickly I watched my enzyme levels in my liver drop, to the right, or get to the right um, stable level, and pretty quickly that meant my liver was bouncing back. But just as it bounced back, the doctor told me one drop of alcohol and it will bounce back into its previous state. So I don't want to die once again. So not even a drop of alcohol. But I do use some wine to cook with. I make my reduction wine sauces and stuff once in a while. And if, don't tell anybody, if I ever come across a chocolate that might have one of those liqueurs in it, it may be, if I don't know. But I don't want to, and I don't want the flavor of ethanol in my mouth ever again. But I do like certain flavors of, like, um, introduce the foods from alcohol, but not the ethanol part of it, not the alcohol. Anyway, let's see. Um, let's see. And I hear, and I'm going to say it's Juanina Brown. I want to say that's how you pronounce that. Um, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. She says you need to keep sharing. She says keep sharing the story. It will reach others. And listen to music also, or you listen to the music often. I need to come out with some songs after my whole experience too. I've been writing a lot of stuff, and I'm going to put it to melody whenever I'm ready to do that. But I think the most important part is getting the story, getting the point and the story of what I want to say out, and then once that's complete and I feel like it's good enough, then I'll put that together in a little package and make something where it's not big. It's just, here it is. Okay, here's that moment of my life. Okay. Um, and that's what I'll do with that. I don't want to make any big stink out of it because it's embarrassing, but it is embarrassing on part of what I've done to my body and what I did to myself through so many years. If you saw me through the years being on here, you could tell the change. I mean, my face, I was swollen, you know, my brain, I wasn't all there. My neural network wasn't good in the first place, so I wasn't doing it any better. Um, and I have one of those minds that's just nonstop, and through the years of me just damaging it, I could have I've wasted time, is what I say, on the things that I really wanted to know and learn. But hey, better late than never, right? And I don't ever plan on stop learning on I never plan to stop. It's always going to be my mission and point to learn in life because I always forget. And if I make it a point to remember to keep learning, maybe I'll relearn some of the stuff that I forget all the time. Anyway, okay. Um, let's see. To everybody, I love you. Thank you so much. I really want, yeah. And I see Juanina is in Alabama. We've got Dorothy Hickson from Arizona. Love you guys. Um, oh, and Joanne says, hi, Jennifer. Jennifer Thurston, who gave me a kiss. And I didn't mention Jennifer earlier as one of the people in the group of those that had to deal with me during that whole event last year this time. Poor Jennifer. Um, sorry, Jen. I'm so sorry. Um, I wanted to kind of not mention you there, kind of like the way you were on the whole trip. And every time I saw you, just anytime I looked at Jennifer, I just saw her quiet, and just all I felt was it meant she's not Jewish, but she could be, because there's a lot of Jewish guilt that she gave me just by being quiet and giving me the look. And she knew that I knew, and know what to do to get better. And yeah, so there's that. And Jen is John Thurston. It's Jen Thurston. Jen and John. John's doing better. He's had some recent upgrades. Upgrades. Um, and he's doing good. Let's see. Boop de boo. Renee, can you sit? I am sitting, Renee. I am. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, it's an inside thing, Renee and I. It was on one of my drunken nights at my house. I had a barbecue, and I just got really drunk, and I kept saying, "Can you sit?" For some reason, I don't know. And it was just so stupid. It was stupid. It was one of those moments. Let's see. Thank you, Renee. Do, 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 do. Uh, well, thanks, Aunt Edna. She goes, the Lord kept me here for a reason. I guess so, Edna. I guess so. You know, and I thank God every day. Since I have, well, I've always been one to pray, and since I've gotten out of the hospital, since I've been aware and awake and conscious, in the moments I go unconscious, which is sleeping, I, and the moment I wake up, I pray, and my prayer is very simple. My prayer is not for me. Before it was about me and other ones I loved, but it was always like, Lord, help me do this, help me do that. And now it's in my mind. I don't even know why I'm alive. So I should be dead, or I would be dead, hypothetically speaking. Had it not been for the ones that love me, I would be dead. Um, so I think every time I do my prayers now, I do them at night and I do them in the morning. And my prayers are never for me now. I just committed to never praying for myself. I think out of all my selfishness in my whole life, that I've had enough of those prayers to God in my life, and I think I probably have quite a few, you know, judgmental strikes against me, maybe against God from God, on that one. Because when I shouldn't have been, when I should have been praying for others and thanking God more than anything, than asking Him for anything, thanking Him, thanking Him every day I'm alive. And that's what I've been doing. I pray for my wife. I pray for my loved ones, my dear friends, every night. They're going to pray for me. And I thank God endlessly. I thank Him. I thank Him in every name I can come up with that is out there for God. Just Not that maybe I'll hit the right name. I don't think God's name we would ever be able to speak with our human tongues. Let's just put it that way. But it helps me in a way to go to sleep, and in a way of thanking God, finding, and it's fun for me on the linguistic side because I find new names for God that I can play out and say while I'm thanking Him, and working on my linguistics at the same time. So thanking God is my thing, and I pray every day, and that's where I'm at in life right now. Um, and and thank you for everything. And I think it's okay though to be embarrassed at the same time. It's hard for me to speak about it, but it's okay. I think embarrassment is much needed because embarrassment is the best teacher in life. And if I'm not to truly be embarrassed or anything about it, I know what you're saying when you say, don't be ashamed, don't be embarrassed when you're telling your story. And I'll try my best not to, and you're right about that. But it does take, yeah, it's not anything I'm proud of, that's for sure. And speaking about to everybody, but for the first time, look at me, I can't even speak properly on the subject. So, but thank you. And I will talk to people if they want to know about it. I'm not the person that I ever will plan on, preaching to anybody, standing on the soapbox about it. Anytime I do that, man, I feel the hypocrisy, all over me. So I don't want to be that. I don't want to do that. And I'm not condemning anybody that does that. I think they do help some people. Um, I think a lot of them help other people, but I'm not one to force my opinions on others either. But if you want to know, come to me. If you want to know what I did wrong enough to be able to eventually do something right, then you can come and ask me, or someone can ask me. That's the way I am about that. And let's see. Thank you, Jen. And Jen's like, yeah, you're present now. No worries needed. That's what friends are for. You are loved and you are doing it. Well, thank you for letting everybody else know that, Jen, because I already know that. I know that. I love you guys. And Jen would know because she's seen how not present I am. By the way, here's an excluded middle for you that I heard. What isn't present is therefore absent. That's true. No argument there, right? There's no middle argument. And I was definitely absent, was not present. Maybe I'm more present now, a little more aware, a little more from where I was relative to where I was. Um, let's see. Oh, your honesty will surely help someone who is in need. I'm so proud of you. I love you, Joanne. Thank you for helping me, guys, get through this. This is Joanne speaking, and Jennifer speaking. You guys know Renee. She saw it from a distance. She knew what was going on. Jennifer was there during the time. Joanne was there during that time. The ones that are on the comments section here that I'm mentioning. Um, and thank you guys for being there, and so they can attest to what I'm talking about, and yeah, there you go. So that's what I wanted today to speak about, being that now I've got pridefully, and I hate using that word because I hate pride. Pride is not a good thing. I should not say pride, but I do. I have a little. I am. I am happy with that. I made it. I'm proud. I'm proud of myself. I made it a year. I mean, I haven't thought about it until coming up to the date, and now I'm like, oh, here we are, taking it day by day, looking down at my feet and not at the horizon. That's been how I made it, because looking at the horizon, man, you see it's just so at a great distance, and it's in the fur, it's in the fur, not the far, the fur, time, not distance and space. and that gets that time distance can look much further, of course, than the farther, and it can be very intimidating. Looking down at my feet is what I've done, meaning I've been taking it day by day, and I really have. And my wife tells me that I have plans for tomorrow, but I don't even know. She's like, you play in here tomorrow or tonight. Even she'll tell me recently. She's like, you have a gig here in 2 hours, right? That was my recent one. I went, oh, okay. Well, I better go get ready then and quickly get out the door. And I love that. And I love that I go day to day. I hope I don't miss any gigs or miss any one for this matter, but I am living in the moment. And and I get to go to work and I come home at the end of the day. But I have to restrict myself on a lot of things. So guys, this is another reason I'm telling you this too at this point. For those out there, I owe an apology to greatly in many more ways than one. As far as my attitude towards life right now goes, it is different than what it was before. And by God, it has to be. It's different from your perspective because what I was projecting before was not truly me. Alcohol and drugs uh, made me into someone I am not. And I would cloud up that person always, and I would say things that I really wasn't feeling in moments. Yes, you can call them lies. And it was to get through the moments because the bloody honest truth is the reason why I would drink and drug and the reason why I didn't like the music business at all is because I'm an introvert and I do not like to be in crowds and people. I do not like being around a lot of people for that matter. Even though I do like people immensely, I love people. I can't live without people. I love people, but I have a very difficult time with people, and especially when I'm sober. And people have a very difficult time with me as a result. Um, and people tend to be those that are very phallus towards me in life. Um, well, I would tend to drink and I'd find a way to deal with people, especially ones that were helping me put bread on my table and having to patronize and patronize them to get through. And so I'd have to drink a bit. And I put that light on a light scale. I mean, most people in the music business I had to do that with and just say yes to them in times. And it wasn't fully their fault always. It's like it's in those moments you're going, well, if I say no to this, then it's going to close the door to other opportunities. So, what do you do? And have a drink. That's what you do. And that's what my whole career and that it was based on with that. I don't know. Um, so I say all of this because today now I don't when I don't go out. I'm not I've never been into partying. I don't like parties in my business. I have to go to parties. It's part of the whole socializing and keeping work and everything in this business. Um, but in red carpet events, which I loathe, by the way, I loathe red carpet events. I'm sorry. I have a lot of friends that do red carpet events. They have to. They know, and then they put the red carpet events on. They know how this business goes, and I know how it goes too. I'm not condemning them or anything. Anyone that attends those events, I'm not saying that people are bad that like to party and like to go to socializing events and social events. No, I'm not. But I am not that person. I've never been. Um, and and as a result, I try and I make a damn sure effort now to avoid confrontation. It's going to happen. So I have, regardless in life. So I have to try my best to avoid it. Um, Keeping myself out of situations that I might say something that might offend somebody. People don't tend to offend me. I'm not that person. I don't get easily offended. I'll call people on something, but I'm not an offended person. But I am the offender for some reason, and so I don't mean to, but it once in a while it just happens. and so I try to avoid social environments. And as I'm sober, um, anyone that wants to approach me with any fallacies at all, any at all, and I know that there are fallacies attached to you or whomever it may be. If you see me hesitant and you see me distant, it is because I I I know that you're bringing me a problem that I do not want. But it doesn't go for everybody that way. I will tell you if you keep coming to me, I will tell you off the bat if there's where the fallacy lies. But I'll do it really nicely in the best way I can. I'm a logical person. Once again, I don't, I'm not good with emotions with other people and feelings and stuff. And that's where I tend to offend people. So that's where I don't know when I'm offending people because I don't know that word or whatever I just said, the way I said that, um, they found a fallacy within me, and then they now don't like me as a result. These are the things that I try to avoid because I am very opinionated, or a little bit at least. I think a lot, and I have a lot of thoughts on things that I've studied. I'll go to and I'll study, and then there are things that I don't. I'll let you know I don't know. I'm very ignorant, extremely ignorant. But mind you, my belief system in the world is much like others who know what the word ignorant means. We're all ignorant. Nobody gets out of that one. It's, ignorant is a relative word. Okay. How ignorant are we? Because we all are ignorant. And for anyone to think, well, I'm not ignorant, there's not ignorance at all, and that's not the way you say it, at least. That is called arrogance. There's the word for that one. So once you get past that word and describe it, then accept that we all are ignorant in life, then you are humbling yourself to a fact. And that's a fact that I understand. And boy, I am very ignorant, guys. I'm extremely ignorant with a lot of stuff. And that is a choice. That is a choice. Ignorance is a choice. Okay. When you see something in front of you and you ignore it, that is a choice. And I choose to ignore a lot in life. I don't have time for sports. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are like, "What do you mean sports?" I'm not. I am totally ignorant to sports. I purposely do not watch sports. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I just don't. I say anything, anything. I do. If they want me to sing the national anthem at events, yes, I'll do it. I'm proud to do that. And I did collect baseball cards when I was a kid, so I do know a lot of the baseball players and famous ones. But I never watched the sport. I only collected the cards because I was trying to get into something with all the other kids, and I picked baseball cards. So, um, and I was doing that until I got my hands on a freaking real Mickey Mantle baseball card. It was like this card from like 1970s. It was like the last year. I know many people wouldn't even know that it might have been. I think it was the 70s. I want to say it was like the 1976 or something like that. And it was an action shot of him going for a swing, and that was like the last baseball card Tops had ever produced of Mickey Mantle. And I had that card, and these neighbors across the street stole it from me. They came over to see my collection one time, and when they left, I was looking for that one that I just showed them, and sure enough, it was gone. And they denied it, of course, but they sleight of handed me. And when they did that, I said to heck with baseball cards, and I threw them aside, and I went to collecting, of all things, stamps, of which I still am into the Philadelic world. And by the way, guys, and I love stamps because of the history of it. I just love the history, and I love the art, the etching, not the new stamps of today. I'm talking about old stamps. Back when paper and money and all that was printed with etchings. And I love that art, man. And the history that goes with stamps and currencies of old, because stamps are a currency and a form of currency. And so much so, you can look this up. I don't know if in some cities I've heard they still accept stamps, um, like buses and stuff like that. Um, Local transit will accept stamps for currency if they're uncirculated U.S. stamps. I don't know. That's what I heard a long time ago. Look that up and see if that's true or not, and get back with me on it. I'll let you know what I know and what I don't. I don't know. I heard that years ago, and I should know if that's true or not. Let's see. Whew. Well, guys, I appreciate you. Barbara Mingo, thank you from Detroit. She's from Motortown. From Motown. Motown. She knows, she puts Detroit on there to a musician. We know. We're like, oh yeah, she knows music. That's those Motown people, man. They came up with that sound. Barry Gordy and those people. Motown Records. Anyway, guys, I love you, and I'm gonna I'm gonna go and celebrate uh, today by sitting with my wife and my four dogs, and and possibly watching a movie. Maybe we'll pick something, or I'm gonna further in. If she's not wanting to do that, I'll go back to furthering my Canaanite uh, research that I've been doing, because I'm putting together a story on that one. I hope to share a story that is quite fascinating, and it's a hypothesis that comes from archaeology, and there are other hypotheses put together on this subject. They're far few and in between. I mean, you can. It's hard to find them. Um, I know there are more than what I can find out there on the subject, and I'll talk about that subject next time. But it's under the subject Canaan, ancient Canaan, and I have a pretty fascinating story that I never thought that I would see, and it's one that I'm not making up. It's just one that's there, and when I bring it out and I show it to you, um, you'll see where I'm going with it. I can't say even when I tell you the story what this is going. What I just can't do any great comparisons to anything else. But this story, if it were to go out into the world, and if it were to start going out into the world about Canaan and ancient Canaan, um, this archaeological story, not any biblical story, the archaeological story, strictly from archaeology, not at all from the Bible. If that story were to go out into the world and start getting out there, in generations to come, it would start changing the world. It would start ending, it would be the beginning of the ending of these great wars in the West that we are having, of the great three religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. All three of them, Abrahamic religions. Okay. But once again, this story I'm going to tell you has nothing to do with the Bible. Let's make that clear. The story that I'm going to tell you eventually, when I tell you, is its own story, but it needs to be told, and it needs to be told to the mass, to the world, because it will end the wars eventually, not overnight. It needs to be accepted eventually. If it is accepted as a truth, that's not going to come in our lifetime, but the message needs to start getting out there in our lifetime. The sooner the better. And nobody's putting the message out there. Nobody's putting what archaeology is showing, and what they are showing on these programs on history and discovery is based on strictly biblical. And even when they say that it's not, sometimes it breeds a little archaeology only, but then it goes back to the chronologies of the Bible. And I don't want to do that. I see no story telling the archaeological story with the chronology to the archaeology story. And mind you, the chronology of the archaeology story to the biblical story, if you wanted to compare the two, is give or take 50, 100 years off. And we're talking about a 3,500-year-old story. So I guess that means a lot, being that the Bible said it was this date and archaeology says that was 50 to 100 years different. Well, then we have another story, is what we have. That's the way this has to be viewed, because the Bible story is truth, right? And it is. And I'll leave it right there with whomever believes it to be truth and it to be true. It is there. That is a story there. But we must not exclude the archaeological story, which is what those in power in the world of those three major religions will do everything they can to keep this story, the archaeological story, from ever meeting the surface. Because God knows, or the gods know, the truth doesn't want to come out. It would end wars. It would end wars. And next time I get on, if, for those of you that are interested in what the story will be, it is one that's just an archaeological story, one that's based off of just written archaeology in stone and in papyrus. You can't get any closer to truths than that. Okay, and I'll do that on the next time I'm on, just to give that to everybody. And then when I give that, and I give that as a separate story, keep it as a separate story, because I can hear people already saying, well, you're incorrect, this is incorrect, this is incorrect about this, the Bible says this. Well, let's keep the Bible out of my story whenever I tell it, and let's keep it on that, just an archaeological story of some peoples. Okay, we're going to talk about, and that's where my mind has been recently. I love going there. I've been in art. I go into colors, and I'm constantly doing that along with the stuff I'm writing when I'm expressing that. I'm just trying to fill you in on where my mind is constantly going, nonstop. Yesterday, I was up for 24 hours. I finally got some rest last night. I haven't done that in a long time. My brain didn't stop, and it was going and going and going like it is now, until I was delirious. Anyway, I love you all. Wait a minute. There's a name at the bottom end of this that I haven't seen since my days in Mississippi. There's a girl at the end of this. Says her name is Chantel Czar. Okay, now she knows. I know who that is, and I haven't seen her. God, that's. I think I saw her after I won the show once, and her and her family were friends of mine, um, in Mississippi, and her mother Lisa, um, who I have to say her name because I think of Lisa so much, and I believe, God, I hope I'm not wrong here. Actually, I hope I am wrong, because what I'm about to say is very taboo. But I heard that Lisa passed away. Now, if I'm incorrect with that, Chantel, please tell me. But if not, don't. And I did hear, and if that's the case, God, I miss her and I love her. I wish I would have seen her after the show. But it's good to see that name. And anyway, hope everybody is doing well. And oh, it is. See, Chantel's like, yes, it is me. Okay. Well, hopefully we will connect down the line. And anyway, I'll see you next Thursday. Same bat time, same bat station. Love all of you guys. Peace. Have a good day.